Hello again, faithful NuNet community. Good to see you again. So last time we had the NuNet MEA quite some time ago. I think it was in beginning of March. So and it's time to give you update of what's going on in NuNet. It's been quite an eventful month and a half, as usual. It seems that events are just picking up, and things are getting better and more kind of dynamic, which is pretty happy news. I think everybody would like to hear that. So first of all, as we said last time, we are building the team. We are constructing our processes in order to deliver what we promised with in the roadmap during the token launch and before the token launch. So we are hiring, and over this time, I think we have something like 7 new people join the team, including full stack developer, backend developers, security engineer, product owner, DevOps engineer, right, Scrum Master, and yes, so we are pretty much in a phase where our development processes get into the pipeline, where we can really start delivering and in a stable manner, which is something that I'm very proud and pretty happy with. So let's see how it works, but it seems very good so far. And of course, it takes time because we are building the core team, which is as I think we already talked pretty much in the beginning. The goal is to build a very strong core team that would guide the community developers. And our goal is at certain point to reach this phase where we, as an open source project, we could accommodate people like community developer code more than the code that we built inside the team. So this team would guide the whole community developers. Therefore, we take care to look for motivated and skilled people to join the team, and we are happy that we are growing. We're growing that way. So I will get maybe to we are still looking. We have a job page on the NuNet website. We are constantly looking for people. I will get maybe back to what exactly now we are looking for in terms of team members joining at the end of MEA or somewhere in the middle. Now, other things that happened. Well, this is something that continuously happened. Now, other things that happened is, as we know, there was a second NTX airdrop that took place somewhere. The claiming started for the second NTX airdrop just 3 days ago, 26th of April, and and the staking window. Which is not related to airdrops, but just for the information, the staking window closes on the 30th of April on the Singularity DAO website, which is our partners, as we know. Now, just a remark: the claiming window for all airdrops finishes on the 22nd of November of this year. So everybody is welcome to claim during this period. The good news is that more people, more AGI X token holders, for which NuNet is doing the airdrop, registered for the second airdrop. Therefore, basically more community members are eligible for the airdrop. The certain effect that comes out from there is that people with the same AJX token get, less NTX tokens per AJX token, because we distribute the same amount of NTX tokens. So the more people join the airdrop, which we happy with, the less per one AJX token get for the airdrop. So, however, I think it is for us, it is important to distribute the promised amounts for the broadest community as possible, AJX community, and to include them into the NuNet community. So thanks for being active and joining the one of the events, and hopefully you will join other events. So we are continuing to run the projects that we started, the development projects. So around the platform development, the project that we started a few months ago. And the main thing is the decentralized SPO computing via NuNet. So we are continuing to run the more extensive tests for the running Cardano nodes via NuNet. We as I said, we further expand the NuNet team in order to cover different aspects. The security aspect, so that we can run those Cardano nodes with full security, not allowing others to access, because certain nodes are private and they keep private keys, not to access those workflows. So we have onboarded the security engineer who started to build our security, let's say, system outline and structure, which covers many phases, many aspects. One of the aspects is identity system, or pseudonymous identity system within NuNet, where we will have to identify who owns which machine. Not that we want to identify actual people behind it, but in order to basically for people themselves to be able to manage the fleet of computers, not just one of computer which they onboard onto NuNet. We are further expanding partnerships. So we are now I'm talking about the first project that we started to do with NuNet, and expanding platform towards that project, which is decentralized stake pool operator computing on NuNet. We are looking further for the onboarding GPU processes, GPU machines on NuNet, and allowing to run workflows which require GPU power, including machine learning and others. And that is related to the Catalyst Fund 8 proposal that we submitted some time ago, and which is right now undergoing voting. So if you consider that is important for the ecosystem. And yeah, so the voting closes on 5th of May, so in a few days. So please consider that. Yeah, so voting right now, it's going on. We are looking forward to integrate that aspect also via NuNet framework. So we have also Scrum Master started last month, which is building the pipeline and the structure of work in order for us to accommodate all those projects and to sort of pipe the work that we are doing for the projects and for the use case integrations, as we call them, to pipe them into the and to sort of connect them into the roadmap of the platform itself, so that we can streamline the development of the platform based on the requirements of the different use case integrations. So this is going pretty well. We are building up our capacities to deliver both. I mean, not both actually. All with the things that we promised to do during the token launch in the roadmap, plus using those use case integrations and the actual uses, well, specifications of use cases that we sort of acquire from the projects and from the prospective users that will already would use the NuNet platform. So we sort of balancing and structuring the process, the development process, in order to make it as efficient as possible using the best available practices in the world of the software development and basically the management. So this month, probably the one of the kind of most celebrated event, both in NuNet ecosystem and community and the SingularityNet ecosystem community, is the ERC20 converter and the BNB converter or bridge. So from the NuNet perspective, this celebrated event is that NuNet became a true NTX or NuNet token became a true multi-chain token, in the sense that we are actually now alive on 3 blockchains, which basically it's a realization, I would say. Well, while it's an important event, but well, it's a start again of or showing how NuNet can work on many blockchains, and to realize this vision and plan to be blockchain agnostic. So originally, NuNet token was launched, as we know, on the Ethereum blockchain and Cardano blockchain. So now, on the Ethereum blockchain, we are continuing all the things that we are doing. So, for example, things that we structured when in the beginning, like airdrops, a bunch of DeFi solutions like staking, farming, etc., and so on. They are continuing on the Ethereum network. So the airdrops, which are structured, the airdrops for the AJAX community, which were structured in the beginning, I mean, just after the token launch in the beginning of this year, I guess. So we are continuing them on the Ethereum network only for now. Now also the DeFi solutions that are there, they're also present on the Ethereum network. However, they are now augmented by the solutions on the BNB network or BSC network, depending on when sort of how you like to call it. So on the middle of this month, the NTX network started. I mean, people are able to bridge NTX token from the ETH or Ethereum network to the BNB network, or vice versa, through the multi-chain bridge, which was launched on the 14th of April. And for that we have burned 50 million tokens on the Ethereum network and minted 50 million NTX token on BNB network, in order to enable basically people to bridge from one to another Now, the burning and minting is related to the fact that we have minted 1 billion NTX token supply in the beginning, and we committed to the stable supply. So the supply doesn't change. Whatever we mint on one blockchain will be burnt on another blockchain in order for the actual NTX supply to be stable. It doesn't matter, no matter how many blockchains we will integrate, and we are planning. Well, we do not have really plans right now for specific blockchains to integrate, but we do have plans to integrate as many blockchains or solutions as needed for the platform to work and to deliver the actual utility for people who will use computing power. So, and that may need different solutions, different blockchains. So yeah. Now, okay. So this basically this sort of move, or well, it's not exactly a move. It's addition to the NuNet token availabilities. It opened NuNet, or NuNet token holders rather, to basically more DeFi options, and frankly less, let's say, costly DeFi options probably. So this is something that we've heard from the community, and we basically responded. So we have launched certain DeFi options such as staking and yield farming, which are hosted also through our DeFi partner Singularity DAO, and also supported by the SingularityNet ecosystem and tech expertise. We may decide, or we will see what are your preferences and needs, and we will respond by proposing certain additional DeFi solutions if that's needed. In terms of the platform utilization, currently we do not really plan to integrate this into the utility of the platform. However, this is also not something that is outside the realm of let's say imagination. So for the basically just talking about the DeFi solutions, the token is available on the Pancake Swap as a DEX. So basically one of the things, and the pair is available there. We provide liquidity as well as unbonded staking, and that became available at the time when the token was minted. So the main, I mentioned Ethereum blockchain, and I mentioned BNB chain. Now the chain that we're looking to two chains in order to build the utility on the platform itself. So originally, our prototype is built on Ethereum, well, actually on Ethereum private chain, but basically with a smart contract language which is available on Ethereum, and the switch, or the kind of move to Cardano is motivated by basically our belief that bridging these two chains and having Cardano as an opportunity for providing utility functionality on the platform, it will increase the ability of people to use the platform and to buy computing power on the platform, or to provide, first of all, computing power from one side, and another part to sort of use this computing power in actual use cases and applications in a more granular manner and more efficiently, possibly faster. So the public alpha or the next version of the prototype that will enable people to earn by providing the computing power, and will enable application developers to use this computing power as a backend of the application, whatever the application they run. Well, we sort of gave it quite substantial, let's say, amount of thought, so that we could enable this connection from the as much as possible from the start, so that it would make sense for the first use cases that we sort of will allow to onboard via NuNet. So we are looking to the Cardano. So the public alpha will go out with on the Cardano together with Ethereum sort of functionality. Therefore, it takes a little bit probably longer than expected. However, while we are conscious of the speed and of the speed of development, and also of the sort of commitments of NuNet, we're also conscious of the needs of the use case integrations that we're now working with, in order to make things that we do useful and efficient in the real world, as a real world, in a sense, real world of computing, where people just need to compute certain things for the application to run. So we are balancing those two things, and therefore I would say that this becoming a multi-chain token is, on the one hand, yes, it provides certain abilities for the more options for the token holders, and also it is as much importantly, or even more importantly, it provides this kind of stepping stone to becoming a token which can run over the chains depending on what is needed for the community members which onboard computers and want to get contributed, and for people who would like to use the network for accessing those computers. The kind of a thing obvious, it seems, but not always sort of visible, is that in order for the compute providers to get compensated for the computing, you need to have users or application developers or users which find it efficient and useful to use these computers. Therefore, we in the sort of established ecosystem, we cannot really have only one side. We have to have both sides, and we are trying to build this up slowly by covering all the sides, rather than sort of taking one side and developing it. So I think this was a sort of indirect response to the community members, for which we are very thankful, who onboarded the computers onto the network, and we're sort of looking for the compute workflows to come and to use this computing power. However, we found out that we need to find partners who would be willing to build applications that would use the NuNet as a backend. And I think we are on a good track. As always, it takes a little bit of time. We are thinking to run the basically to incentivize people to join until we get into this place where actually there is a marketplace where people will be able to sort of source the computing power from the NuNet and contribute for that computing power, and this ecosystem will just will get sustainable by itself. We are also building a program how to incentivize. However, we will incentivize step by step depending on the use cases that we're building. So those use cases are, as I mentioned, Cardano, stake pools, and stake pool operators sourcing the computing power through NuNet, and the GPU computing for the machine learning and other workflows, and others. So we are constantly looking for the best use cases that we can build in, and already provide this full ecosystem in order for this to work and to sort of become more and more sustainable and self-sustained as a platform. So one warning is about actually fake tokens. So that was related to our what I just introduced in terms of becoming multi-chain token. In particular, when the token was launched on the BNB chain and on the some dexes, there were other dexes on the there were actually on not only on Ethereum the dexes but on others. So there were some dexes where we observed that there are fake tokens and fake trading pairs. So when you go and basically explore these opportunities and try to swap tokens or to bridge, please take care that there are some pools that they were scams, and so please take care to check what is the actual price of the token and whether it corresponds to the NuNet token, because NuNet tokens price is pretty much similar across the chains. And always check if that token is authentic, and check the contract address, which is public, and we always provide this token address, which is actual token address that we have. So this would be the let's say the main things that worth mentioning. And there are, of course, as I said, there are many things happened, and it's very difficult to sort of single out what to say, but let's keep it at that. These are the main events, and the main event the main thing above all this is that our community is growing and getting stabilized. We are very happy that also the developer community is getting more involved. We hope that will only sort of grow stronger and more substantial. We are constantly looking and expecting for people to get into the development process and to not exactly help, of course, also help us, but it's not exactly help, because we want to provide the code and provide the product that is useful for people to develop on. And therefore, we are building the process and the team itself so that we can, to the maximum extent, accommodate those needs in terms of the direction of the product that we're building. So we are looking forward to work with you on sort of on that side of NuNet too, which is shaping the platform on the technical side of the platform and the technical features of the platform. Now, so in terms of jobs, we are of jobs opening, of the team members that we are looking for. For example, as I mentioned, also related to the fact that we became a multi-chain token, and we are kind of becoming a multi-chain utility token. That simply means that we are so from the technical perspective, let's say a little bit into the roadmap, we have a component of the platform which is called tokenomics API, which basically abstracts all the functionality that we need in the NuNet platform that we basically need from the blockchains. And in this tokenomics API, we built sort of ways to interact with different blockchains. So when we allow the NTX utility token on the platform side to work through certain when we say that this and this and this blockchain is kind of integrated into the platform, this means that the tokenomics API has sort of functions that translate the logic of the platform into the blockchain that is used. So for now, we have right now in the prototype, we have this Solidity. What we are planning to do, we are planning to upgrade the Solidity contracts so that they sort of realize upgraded functionality that we need in the platform. And also we are going to enable the same functionality via Cardano smart contracts, which is Plutus. Now, just an example, one of the positions that we are looking for is developers who would be able to overview all the blockchain space and to sort of specify the functions of tokenomics API and also translate these functionality of tokenomics API that we need on the NuNet platform into different blockchains, including basically EVM-based blockchains which run on Solidity, or Cardano, which runs like smart contracts, runs on Plutus, and which is based on Haskell. So basically, we are looking for people or community members who are knowledgeable about the fundamentals of the blockchain, and who would be willing and able to basically compare different blockchains and compare what kind of functionalities can be implemented right now. Yeah, on EVM or on Plutus. In the future, it could be others. That's one of the examples. I think this is something that is probably, I could say, something that we are kind of looking right now. Not disregarding other job openings that we are looking for. Right now the principle, and yes, we are very happy with people which we already onboarded which joined the team over this month or so. And as I said, the strategy of building the team is that we are looking for a very skilled core team that could actually guide others who join, whether through the community or whether through the team inside. So basically generalists who could create, and we are very much looking forward to that, because we are creating something that basically, well, of course we can learn from the good examples what's done, but we are set and we are aiming to create something that doesn't exist, and that is the main challenge and main fun of it. And I think this is what exactly we were all expecting, and we're expecting from us and from NuNet to deliver. So yeah, so thank you for being part of it. Now let's go to the questions. And first of all, of course, thank you for the questions. Yes. So the first one is, well, thanks for the compliment that you guys doing an amazing job. I hope that we will continue that. Now, theoretically speaking, could a platform? Okay, that's another question, but let's go to that one. Okay, it's gone. Okay, so I will then look at the notes of the questions. So theoretically speaking, could a platform such as Twitter run in NuNet infrastructure? Theoretically speaking, yes, and I think a platform. Well, basically, What I mean, we have kind of strange events happening around Twitter lately, and the strange is that the idea of those events is that Twitter is not decentralized enough, and therefore we have to decentralize Twitter. However, the way it's going to happen is through complete centralization, which may be the only way to go about it. But that's okay. But talking about the sort of technically speaking, as the question is basically decentralized platforms. If we're talking about decentralized social media network, which Twitter is, except that it's microblogging, but anyway, social media. So the best way to run a decentralized social network is to use decentralized hardware, which is something that NuNet provides. So theoretically speaking, it's not that it could. I think this is the way to make the social network actually decentralized. So yeah, that would be short answer. I think I could go quite sort of far and I don't know where deep in order how to do that. I mean, to try to explain how to do it. We haven't yet started to think too deeply about that. I have to admit that we spent quite some time, not only within NuNet, but also within the larger Singularity Net community and team, thinking how could NuNet be leveraged for the sort of providing more decentralization to social networks. So yeah, let's say if we imagine the completely decentralized social network, that would mean that, well, completely or not, but let's say that would mean that there is no data that is stored in any central server. So one of the things that was kind of discussed in this sense is that what about if when I switch off my computer, all my data disappears from the network? That would be complete decentralization and kind of owning the data. Well, of course, there are kind of sort of pluses and minuses of this, because we do not keep our computers running, let's say, full time, 24/7. However, there are ways to sort of go around this. NuNet, in principle, it runs workflows. So in principle, it can kind of run anything that is sort of basically containerized in a way that NuNet is able to orchestrate as a computing workflow. But things like decentralized social networks, yeah, this is one of the interesting, let's say, use cases for NuNet, which makes sense not only from the technical perspective or theoretically speaking, but actually also from the conceptual perspective. What are those decentralized social networks? So that would be more or less about that. And thanks for the question. That's an interesting one. It kind of yeah can last for quite some time just to discuss it. Will at any point be possible to claim the tokens released through the launchpad directly on Cardano network? And if so, will that be available to unstake from the pool directly on Cardano network too? Let me say this: the team is working on the solutions for that. It's not. We just sort of made the solution for all the tokens to be bridged to different blockchains. We would like to provide it. I would not promise because we are looking for basically technical solutions. It's not straightforward. What does NuNet token aim to do? Is it good for the future? NuNet token aims to be a token which enables machines, algorithms, not machines, algorithms to buy the computing power without basically human interaction. So automatically, it's kind of algorithm to machine interaction. And to power this ecosystem or the global economy of decentralized computing, where algorithms can pay to the machines basically can get rewards for the actual computing power that they offered for the algorithms to run, or the algorithms used on those machines, also to sort of to convert that to whatever currency or tokens needed to buy data that is needed for those algorithms to run, and for the users of any application to be able to seamlessly direct the payments for the usage of that application into all that infrastructure. So the aim of NuNet token is to provide a framework which enables to settle all those transactions in the single marketplace. And this is what is the single and most important and the utility value of the NTX token, which we are slowly but persistently building, and which is built into the prototype that is accessible through our basically GitLab page to check how exactly it works in the prototype right now on the Solidity contracts. What is good for the future? So for the future, it is good for bootstrapping what we call, or what we named as a decentralized cloud. Is that so that for the ecosystem where people or companies or algorithms could access the most sort of, I cannot say most optimal, right? The optimal configuration of the computing resources that are needed in order to run those algorithms, which means the cheapest, the fastest, the most accessible, the greenest, depending on what are the preferences. So this is what is good for the future, and this is what we're building. We want to increase the opportunity of, let's say, increase the options of access to the computing power, and also to enable the vast amount of computing power which is not used in a small, large devices, etc., and so on, due to different barriers of access, whether artificial, whether technical, etc., and so on. What NuNet is doing is building this ecosystem to enable access to this computing power and utilize this computing power, which at the end of the day, it sort of boils down to using resources efficiently. In this case, computing resources, and the token itself is just a mean to make that possible, which is this is what is useful for the future. And I think this is pretty much a key. It's sort of, it's a very short question, but it's pretty much a key question what we're doing. Now I think two questions from one person. Where there are any other use cases considered for NuNet, and could you explain where there are any other use cases? Could you explain why the SPO use case was chosen as the first use case to tackle? Yes. So in terms of use cases, there are quite a few sort of criteria how we choose use cases. One thing is that we have certain understanding where we want to go and what is the roadmap. Then, based on that, we also have a prototype which we developed during the incubation period. So we have certain functionalities that already are built, and also we have quite a good understanding of the complexity of different functionalities within this. Let's say, so how far from the place where we are with the prototype, how far we are from the functionalities that we can sort of build into the mainnet or enable to the mainnets for people to use already with actual tokens on the mainnet. So that's one. Another one is, so what do we see? Because the first use case that we build into or we enable, it's not that we build it in, but the first use cases were enabled by building functionality that would influence, if not shape, it would influence the further development. So we are thinking, okay, so what kind of use cases we have to sort of consider in order to sort of influence the development of a platform. And then we see where we are going. For example, since these Cardano nodes and basically Cardano SPO use case, this is related to the Cardano integration, and we at that point we are already stepping into Cardano community. That was an excellent use case to sort of build upon. Related to that, use case is not something that we pick. We are looking for partners who would be willing to build certain use cases. I mean, considering also what we can do, what kind of features we can build in order to make those things work. So from the technical perspective, then we look what kind of community members we have, or what is the interest from the community to build certain use cases, because we are not going to run Cardano nodes. We will provide an option for people who want to run Cardano nodes and who are running Cardano nodes to get the hardware for that through NuNet, which means we have to work, or we want to work with partners who will be providing us what are specifications and needs and all the requirements in order to actually run stake pools. Which means we are also looking to the needs of community, or what kind of, how well defined and how serious commitment basically from the community from the partners who will build these use cases with us, or who will work with us for building these use cases, we can already establish based on the previous things that I mentioned, on the technical capabilities of what is the current functions of the platform, etc. And so on. And then we also plan, okay, so how long will it take for us to do certain features? And since the technical complexity of the platform is quite high, we sort of build we have an understanding which things have to be built first before we can reach another thing. And therefore we pick those use cases so that we can enable certain things that already will work without kind of finishing all the most advanced features of the platform. which will take us more than 1 year, let's say. So that's a criteria how we choose things. And this is how we chose Cardano, the stake pool operator use case. Considering all those aspects. So as always in the complex things, there's no single cause or single reason. There are many reasons which we balance and we find out a solution. And also, to name another thing, this is the first, but we already developing quite a few in the pipeline. So it's not the only one. So the second part of the second question of the same person, I would guess there are two main categories of user for NuNet. User A who wants the additional computational power, and user B who will provide access to the computing power. Yes, but these are not the only ones. So basically, these are the main ones which we may say that we are emphasizing in terms of our. Okay, I think I didn't finish reading the question. User A is likely to be technically competent, whilst user B could be less technically advanced. How will you keep the user experience simple for user B? And user B is the one who will provide access to the computing power. So yeah, just finishing what I started without reading the full question is that these are the, you can say maybe that these are the main categories. So, but also we have data providers, we have algorithm providers, and we have application developers who will sort of connect, in the whole ecosystem and into the platform. And we have to connect all of them. As I said in the use case, we basically have to connect all of them. So it's not, it's not enough to have only two parts of it, unless we find a use case, already working use case, which needs only the two parts. Otherwise, we have to also see how the data will come into the network, how the algorithms will be sort of who will do this, etc. and so on. So leaving that. Now, our goal is to make both for user A and for user B to sort of be able to plug into or to provide to ask for the computing power from NuNet, as well as, let's say this way, to ask for the computing power from the contributors of computing power through NuNet, and for the people who have this computing power to do that. So the protocols and APIs that we're building, the aim is to allow this to happen on the algorithmic level. So to make it happen as much as possible automatically. So as an example, let's say when we go to the cloud computing platform, we sort of run kind of virtual machines, and then we calculate, okay, so how much big virtual machine I need to have in order to run whatever I'm running, some sort of website, some kind of workflow or machine learning algorithm. So basically, a person who asks for a computing power, which wants the additional computing power, supposedly they know how much computing power they need. What we want to build is actually that one can describe the algorithms, and then the NuNet platform would basically choose what is the hardware that is needed for that algorithm to run, which would basically reduce the technical complexity for the at least at this part, when you have to sort of spawn a virtual machine which exactly matches the needs, which is basically called orchestration. So in terms of providing computing power, I wouldn't really agree with an idea that it needs a more technical competence. I would agree probably that within the current state of the prototype, which is really the first prototype, yes, it's quite technical. We aim to build, and we actually started to build dashboards for people with the computing power to sort of to be able to manage either one computer or even fleet of computers in a pretty well, not exactly straightforward, but sort of manage those computers without the deep technical knowledge. So they will not need to kind of run scripts or do all kind of stuff on the hardware level. Of course, certain technical knowledge will be needed. But since what we want to do, we want to enable most of people who have computers to sort of to offer the computing power to the users. So right, basically this is a solution on our side. We're building dashboards which builds a user interface for these people to to provide the computing power without having deep technical knowledge. While it's a kind of it's it's not straightforward, and it will not happen immediately. In the sense that for compute providers who will be willing and who we invite to join the development network or the testing network. So for quite a long period until we get the production network running and we get all those applications running, the test network participants will need to have quite substantial technical knowledge. So yeah, we are going to keep user experience simple by building the dashboards and applications that would abstract the functionalities of protocols that we're building into the NuNet platform from a user. However, since NuNet is a decentralized platform, we will not take decisions on behalf of user, because that is where centralization comes in, and this is something that we would not do in principle and in practice. Now, there is a kind of trade-off. How can we do that? We will not make and the way we will do this, we will give certain recommendations. So the applications that we will provide will come with certain recommendations. Let's say if a user is using a certain computer which is otherwise used, let's say, for work, we will give certain recommendations of not providing, let's say, more than, I don't know, whatever percentage of computing power to NuNet, because if one commits with this computing power, basically that will slow down the computer. However, we will always provide the kind of option of choice to a user, and that is the principle of decentralized platform and basically decentralization. And actually, I see that somebody says that I have to upgrade to professional quality microphone. Actually, I do have professional quality microphone, so probably the problem is somewhere else. Maybe I have to talk louder. So yeah, hopefully now it's better. And where I was. Yeah, so basically, in order to use decentralized platforms, one needs to have certain knowledge. And in that case, we will we will provide guidance, and we will be building certain tutorials or guidance in order to make people able to make these decisions. And of course, in terms of interface, we will do our best to kind of abstract all the too technical details in order to enable people to make choice without having, let's say, without knowing all the details of the operating system system and so on. So we are almost at the end, actually at the end of the stream, but I will try to look at a few more questions, because I think I didn't cover even half of them. Could a DAO be created to run NTX compute farms? So really good thought. I mean, cool question. The short answer would be yes, it could. The long answer is, would you like to contact us and to provide ideas how to build that? Because a DAO using, let's say, it's certain organizational structure which would use decentralized computing in order to power the organizational structure that it powers. NuNet provides the like computing power. We do not provide the logic of what is being computed. As I said, what we want to do, we want to partner with the let's say people or entities which want to basically build certain functionalities, and then we would be happy to guide the platform development in order to have those functionalities that are needed. So the longer question would be, please contact us in one of the sort of channels, through one of the channels, and let's discuss that, how we can sort of adapt platform if it's for such a use case. So there is a slightly kind of longer question about okay, I will skip the deep funding proposal part, but so a person is asking is that okay, about whether there's a chance to work with the projects which are not AI focused. So the AI focus is Singularity Net ecosystem basically has a quite strong focus on AI. Now, NuNet is basically what we call infrastructure arm of Singularity Net, which means we provide infrastructure. For the infrastructure, or for the computing infrastructure, well, it's not completely the same whether AI or non-AI runs on it. It depends on the computing sort of things. But basically, we just do the computing, which can be AI, which can be non-AI, which can be just guessing numbers, which I would, yeah, any computing. So in that sense, NuNet itself is not really AI focused. While we are emphasizing ability to run AI workflows, which puts certain additional complexity for the platform. What does it need? For example, AI may need to search for certain things in the network itself rather than being fed like manually. However, since we are looking for that functionality, of course, we can run also non-AI workflows. Therefore, NuNet itself is not really constrained to AI. So yes, any sort of any computing workflows or are welcome to see whether they can use NuNet as a source of reaching computing power. Well, any plans to use NuNet to another blockchain for decentralized work of PO, like proof of stake nodes for Ethereum, for example? Well, as long as it is there. But again, we are using blockchain. We're not running on blockchain, right? So we are using different blockchains through the tokenomics API to enable settling of transactions, sort of agreeing between machines, algorithms, data sources, data storages to do certain computational work and to distribute value. Now, if any, let's say, blockchain in this sense, blockchain nodes is a kind of computational process which can be run through NuNet. And in that sense, once again, when I was explaining what are the criteria to choose use cases, so it depends on what are our technical capabilities right now, what is the interest, what is sort of interest from the community, from a certain blockchains, etc., and so on. And then right now we do not really have concrete plans towards these things, but we may, depending on the needs of the wider, let's call it Web3 community. And we are really looking forward to sort of shape accordingly. Who is the competition of NuNet and what makes you different? Well, I would say this, that what we aim to do is we aim to connect technologies available in the Web3 space. So, of course, there are different sort of technologies which are similar. There are different processes which may more or less similar, but the way we are looking to all this Web3 space is that there are much more opportunities to collaborate rather than to compete. We have other spaces against we can compete, so therefore, and that makes us different, I think. It's not exactly the technology, but let's say the strategy and the way we would like to move forward. So, and if you looked at our very early, let's say, communications and website edition, I think we had a picture where we showed how NuNet connects different, not only computers, but also different decentralized computing platforms. So we are aiming to be a infrastructure or marketplace between platforms also, not only between the computers. So the way I'm looking at the other frameworks is that we can build sort of bridges between them, and that also relates to blockchains, let's say, and whether blockchains are competing between each other. I don't think so. They can build the infrastructure where they can kind of cooperate and do certain useful things for each other via this sort of cooperation. It's more complex than that, but that's the basic strategy, and this is I think how we are different. Are there any considerations being currently made for deploying game servers on NuNet, such as Unreal Engine projects, in order to... that's too specific for me. I cannot even say. Basically, the thing is that, okay, maybe I will make it a little bit more, not abstract, but kind of general. As I said, we are not building application logic itself. We are looking for partners, whether it's these projects, people, entities, businesses, etc., and so on, who would work with us, who first of all who would see the kind of rationale to build to sort of source the computing power that they need from via NuNet, and then work with us in order to build a solution to sort of enable that. So, for example, I would not answer the question whether a certain engine, whether it makes sense or whether we plan to build certain engine. I would ask community whether, or well, let's say prospective partners, whether it makes sense, and that and then NuNet would sort of shape the development of the platform in order to accommodate that. And currently, we don't have this sort of this kind of conversations. But yeah, we're looking forward. And yep, I think so. Yes, the last question actually is the longest question. Is I'm not even sure whether we can sort of cover it because I see that we're already over time. But the question is, where do you see NuNet being in 3-5 years in terms of development? And so I will risk to say something very not complete or partial. I mean, partial and not complete. So in this years, what we're looking for is so right now I was explaining that we're building the platform based on the partnerships with people who want to work with us in order to build functionality, basically to enable certain use cases to run. In this timeline, I would think that we would be already pretty well into the place where we could provide general computing power for pretty much anybody who wants. Now, meaning that anybody who would like to run the backends through NuNet would be able to pretty much, well, without too long development process, etc., to just to come and to integrate the application to NuNet and simply start running the applications through the decentralized network that NuNet provides in a scalable manner, which means on a sort of scale enough, pretty demanding workflows, and to have a very efficient orchestration engine which could scale up and down all the workflows so that they could probably pay less than they would pay, let's say, for alternative solutions, sort of due to the first that we would source different computing power from different sources, and also due to the ability to use only the computing power that is needed at a certain moment. Another thing that I would probably say in this time frame, that we will enable edge computing as edge IoT and edge computing workflows. Or well, we would enable basically NuNet as such as a platform enable these use cases. But I would say that at least from that side, we in the development we would have developed the solutions that would enable computing processes to run over the IoT and edge devices and to collaborate between all of them and to connect to the cloud pretty much seamlessly in this sense of orchestrate all of them. Yes, so as I said, it may be a little bit partial and not complete and a little bit too general answer, but this is a kind of big question. So I hope that we will be able to answer it in the future videos, and basically not only in the videos but also in our sort of communication channels, and also we would be able to show our movement towards these things in via the open source code that we're building, namely via GitLab, where all the development lives. So I hope that we will be showing movement over that on the technical level. So that would be probably it. Thanks a lot for the participating and participating in this MAA and even more participating in NuNet. So thanks for being us and looking forward.